Bills, Jets, Week 1, 1 p.m., CBS. This is Mad Men Sports, coming at you live from Buffalo, New York. It's Buffalo Bills football time, baby. A lot has gone on over this past year. None of it good. But now, we all come together as one. Bills Mafia. Diamond Dave, what's going on, man? You excited about football?
It all starts tomorrow, Thursday.
It does. Very
Best days of the year.
exciting. Zach, you got to be shaking in your boots, man.
I can't even sleep. I haven't been able to sleep
Not
last
wearing any
Sunday.
shoes or boots.
I can't do it. I can't sleep. I'm too excited. This is what we live for. This is why we do what we do. We do it for the Buffalo Bills Week 1. Rolling here. This is what it's about. No preseason. We're going in dry
No
right now.
preseason.
Going in dry.
You got Stephon Diggs, the huge acquisition for the Buffalo Bills. You have the
Huge.
two-headed monster in Zach Moss and Devin Singletary and Josh Allen trying to put everything together. Long ball, intermediate pass, trying to get that accuracy up. It's important for him. You don't have much time if you're Josh Allen. So you have all the weapons. You have John Brown. You have Cole Beasley. You have Stephon Diggs. You have a young tight end in Dawson Knox. And a offensive line who is starting to build some chemistry together.
Going. Do
They've
the
been
whole
a couple
roster.
years.
You got a D line.
I mean,
You got
all of it's
linebackers,
important.
You got
We-
You got
safeties.
strength and conditioning.
We
coach.
haven't had this much of a complete team
in a long time.
in a long time. So
It's been a while. It's
yeah,
been a while.
let me list every player because they're all important. They're all
we
going to
don't
make a
have to.
huge
No, no, no.
contribution.
No. Listen, they all are important. This is the biggest Week 1, and like actually biggest Week 1 in a long time, and it's the most random Week 1. I obviously have my own personal opinion about this game. We'll get into that a little bit deeper in the show. But I think that this week is such an important week. You got to get off on the right foot. You got to get all the hiccups out of the way. You don't have, like you said, you don't have time. There's no
Go
dress
time.
rehearsals this year. You are in the thick of it. You drop the first 3 games because you're unprepared. You're already 0-3, and you're probably on the outside looking in for the playoffs. Just off the bat right there. This is the most important beginning of the season ever in Bills history. I'll say that.
Definitely.
We have a medical team. We have a cafeteria.
Dave, what do you think about
What's
this?
your guys' favorite Week 1 memory of all time? I was thinking about this earlier.
I think it's this one right now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
living it.
definitely not last year's Jets game or 2 years ago's Jets game.
I did like. I will say this.
You guys are too young to remember the Patriots game when Sam Adams ran the ball back.
Oh, I remember.
I was
that.
at a Zeb's when I was watching that. I remember.
I miss that.
I will say that in my most recent memories, I did like that Percy Harvin touchdown against the Colts. Me and Chris were sitting
Rex
right in the
Ryan's
front row
game was
there.
the first game as a
Yeah,
coach.
it was a big move. They had LaShawn McCoy, his brand new offense. They had Percy Harvin, Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods. They had, Tyrod Taylor running the show now. I loved that game. That was a great game. Obviously, the rest of the season and the rest of the Rex era didn't pan out. I'll tell you, it won't be the Nathan Peterman game.
Another
yeah.
one was Fred Jackson's stiff arm game against the Bears.
The Bears overtime. I like that. Who was that? Chris Conte.
The season sucks.
Chris
but
Conte, yeah.
Yeah, I got a great memory, dude.
There you go. Now, David, the NFL had ranked the Buffalo Bills defensive backfield as second in the league, just behind the New England Patriots.
New England's got a hell of a backfield.
Let's talk about the 2020 Buffalo Bills defense. What are your expectations for this year?
Well, you look, the only thing that's player-wise that's changed really much is Lorenzo Alexander. You know how I feel about Star. I'm not even going to mention him. Lorenzo Alexander
And he mentions them.
He mentions them all the time.
not being there, and you replace him with a guy that used to play for the Panthers and the Saints, AJ Klein. So the kind of give and take there. Lorenzo has the leadership experience. Klein's probably the better, more productive player. We'll see.
Which
on Sunday.
Tremaine Edmonds has stepped up in that role, that vocal leader. You lost Shaq Lawson, you lost Jordan Phillips, but you do
That
add
was my next topic.
Mario Addison.
The defensive
Quentin
line,
Jefferson.
I think. I I don't know. I think the 85 Bears recorded 78 sacks in a season, which is the all-time record.
It's good to hear your real voices.
I think the Bills could rival that. I think this defensive line is going to be a beast. This defensive line is going to be a monster. I think AJ Epinenza, I know you guys look at me as the old negative guy. That's not true because I think Epinenza is going to be the defensive rookie of the year. Early prediction for me. Also, I think that Mario Addison's he's consistently getting 10 sacks. I'm still on the Trent Murphy train. Jerry Hughes is looking to get a playoff win. This defensive line is going to be hungry. This defensive line is, I think, the best since the year we had Mario.
Kyle, Jerry, Marcel.
All those guys I can't remember, yeah.
Hey, Dave, fun fact. Do you know Trent Murphy had the most defensive line snap counts last year?
65%, if I'm not
65%.
On the team or the league?
On the team.
on the team, obviously.
65%.
He got the most out of the rotation last year.
Which is interesting because when fans look at wanting to cut Trent Murphy, they're just looking at the money aspect. But he played the most on the defensive line. I know they're heavy rotation, but it's interesting to see that Trent Murphy does get the bulk of the play on the defensive line.
It's really creepy. Could you get that off the screen?
Sorry. Oh,
It's the Josh Allen
no,
stash
actually, you
season,
don't even
baby.
know about this. So the Buffalo Bills put out a tweet saying,
I'm going to stop you there. I know I don't have Twitter, but I am well aware of it.
if we get 5,000
Yeah.
retweets, we're going to make Josh Allen's
Yes.
They
creepy
did it on Instagram, too.
face.
50,000 likes.
They get it?
They got it. They were at 58 last time I
It's really rather.
peeked at it.
NFL Network was covering it too today.
Covering it.
Really? That's terrifying.
That
That's-
just shows you the lack of sports going
They're
on
ready.
right now.
They're ready for week one tomorrow. That's for sure. Covering a stash conversation. But that here we go. Back to Stephon Diggs. That stash picture comes from Stephon Diggs' Instagram. And, you know, that was kind of like Kimberly Jones from NFL Network was during the interviews today with Stephon Diggs, because you know how they do the webcams now. She asked the question, is she surprised how fast the chemistry between Stephon and Josh came along so quickly? And he goes, I'm not surprised at all. You know, we spend every minute we possibly can together. We're doing Call of Duty. You know, he doesn't know who's better. He said, one of them's always getting out of the gulag. He said he didn't want to mention names.
Call of Duty?
Yeah,
playing?
they're always playing Call of Duty. They're doing the duty. They're
Doing the duty.
doing their-
Warzone, baby.
Yeah. Or not even Warzone. What's that? Cargo? What's the
Oh,
Shipment.
Shipment. That
That's a
map
great one.
is out of pocket.
That's one of my favorite maps of all time. You spawn kill them.
No, Rust. You can't beat Rust from
Rust
Modern
was
Warfare
awful.
2.
I hated that game. The whole game I hated.
No idea what you're talking about.
It's Call of Duty. Look it up. But listen, I'm excited about the chemistry because, listen, it took, maybe 4 or 5 weeks for Cole Beasley to really get in the swing of things with Josh. And, obviously he really turned it around once they did get in the swing of things. He became, towards the end of the season, the go-to in certain situations. Josh and John Brown really didn't take much to get off. So being able to get Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen on the same page immediately, that is huge.
Definitely. And you were talking about we're starting to get more interviews. I mean, we're starting to become a focal point of the NFL. The NFL has taken notice. Media has taken notice. We're starting to see the national power rankings.
Hard to not take notice, that's for sure.
Kind of reflect those things. Now, we did no worse than the top 10, which I think being ranked at the top 10 with this team is kind of ridiculous. NFL.com had the Buffalo Bills ranked at number 6. CBS Sports ranked at number 7. ESPN ranked at a very disrespectful 10 for me. Out of those 3 spots, David, where do you think we fit? Where do you think we should be?
For the sake of having this conversation, I think the Bills are probably at the 10 spot. We have a good team on paper. We haven't proven a damn thing yet, so I'm not going to get mad over a power ranking.
So I think us at 6 would be the third AFC team. Only the Chiefs and the Ravens would be in front of us.
In my mind, in my perfect little world, I think we are the third best AFC team.
I
But
agree.
again, this is all on
Yeah.
paper. I think the Chiefs, the Ravens are better than us. But we still have the Titans and the Steelers and
We
the Texans, who
beat
are still
both last year.
good.
But we get a
rivaling
chance to
us.
beat them again, that's for sure.
Indeed.
So yeah, we haven't proven a damn thing yet. We're good on paper, and that's fine. We can have this conversation and extensively have it in 4 weeks. But right now, yeah, we haven't. I don't care where ESPN what they think of me or us.
Zach?
I don't
Did you
think the
give a different
ESPN thinks much of you, Dave. I'm going to be honest with you.
Diamond Dave, we're ranking him at number 12 for Buffalo Bill podcasters.
Yeah, he's a good personality, not the best.
Not the best
The
takes.
Maniac guy is pretty up there.
No, he's not.
We're kidding. Anyways,
Ugh, he's bald.
Who's the maniac?
Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
we're joking. We were
Is he
joking.
another podcast guy?
No.
He doesn't exist. We were joking. That's a made
He's a
up guy. we
figment
made.
of our imagination.
No, I think 10 is actually right in line.
Really?
Listen, the NFC is stacked. They have, regardless, the Vikings are still good. I don't know if they're ahead of them or not. I don't look at the power rankings too often. San Francisco, great team. Kansas City, good team. Baltimore, good team. Those teams are ahead of us. Buccaneers, they have hype. In power rankings, they're going to be ahead of you. I think 10 is probably, maybe they're better than the Cowboys, but on paper right now, the Cowboys are, they're selling tickets. I mean, and literally. But
In my mind, and this is a side conversation for a different world, the NFC West, all four of those teams on paper belong in the top 10. The NFC West is stacked, and I would hate to. We are playing them this year, but I would hate to play them twice.
they're definitely not better. The Rams are definitely not better than the Bills.
So just for
That's a hard knocks.
a quick 15 seconds thing. Number 1's Chiefs, 2 Ravens, 3 49ers, 4 Saints, 5 Cowboys.
That's a little high for the Cowboys, I'd say. Eagles is way too high. See, that's
Eagles is
something
too high.
that
Cowboys-
blows my mind. The Eagles should not be at 6.
Cowboys belong there because who they playing?
Cowboys didn't make the playoffs last year,
No.
and then
Giants suck,
an
Redskins suck.
8-8 Eagles team
Eagles
did.
are injured.
Yeah.
Both of those teams are too high.
7
Seattle
Seahawks,
definitely up there.
8
Tampa Bay
Buccaneers.
definitely.
Mike Evans with a little injury, though.
I saw. Patriots
9
not.
Patriots.
Yeah, see, fuck these power rankings. I'll say
10
it.
Bills.
They should be at a 6. The Bills should be at a 6.
See?
Yeah, the Patriots.
Looking at the teams in front of us,
The Rams are 11.
Patriots could take a bite of my ass because there's not a single
Where-
person on the team that scares me.
See, I don't even understand how they made these. Do they just throw darts?
exactly.
Ugh.
So we should definitely be a 6.
Patriots make ESPN money, so
But let's stop talking about the national media because we all know the
We know
Bills
what we are.
perform better when the national media is against us. Let's talk about week 1. New York Jets, Adam Gase on the hot seat. Sam
Jets.
Darnold.
He's been on the hot seat since he got hired. That guy's awful.
He's been on. He
His
is
seat is so
the
high, it might as well say
definition.
Beyonce, 'cause that
To the left.
He's the definition of hot seat. You have Sam Darnold, drafted the same year, Josh Allen. You could say friends. They're friends.
Sadly, they are.
2 wildly different positions on different teams. Bills set them up to succeed. The Jets, not so much. You have a lot of injuries at the wide receiver position. You have Le'Veon Bell, who's a former shell of himself.
Oh, easily. I mean, I had
Frank
him on my
Gore.
fantasy team last year. Let me tell you, Le'Veon Bell is nothing to be worried about. Listen, he's going to catch his 2-yard passes. But then the Bills defense, we know what they are. We know that they're a ball hawking defense. They're going to 11 guys, 11 hats to the ball, as coaches always used to say. I'm not afraid of Bell. I'm not afraid of Frank Gore. And apparently, Frank Gore is the better of the two in camp. Now, if that's true or not, I'm not worried about a team that has running backs being their best offensive weapons. I do believe that Sam Darnold is a good quarterback in this league.
But let's start with the Bills. What do the Bills, David, what is your biggest key to this game for the Buffalo Bills?
Well, we can sit here all day and say Bills are better than them. The Bills are clearly better than them. But none of these teams have actually played game time in a year. So there is going to be some sloppiness on both sides. The thing that concerns me, if I was a Jets fan, is they lost C.J. Mosley, one of the at the time last year, probably the best linebacker in the AFC East. That's a big loss for them. So what I think, and I'll talk about this in my game predictions, is there's a huge hole up the middle. The only one that scares me on the Jets isn't even a player. It's Greg Williams. Greg Williams always has a good defensive job. But they lost a lot of players. That defensive backfield is just a sorry excuse. Jamal Adams, they don't want to be good. This team's in the running, and I don't think they should be, but I'm pretty sure this team's in the running for the Trevor Lawrence or the Fields for Ohio State guy. This team does not scare me. And I know I'm usually you guys aren't being realistic. I think this game's going to be just a sloshing. This team doesn't. The only thing that concerns me on this team is the Greg Williams defensive coordinator. He always has a good scheme planned up, but that doesn't even bother me this year.
Yeah, I think it's super important that the Bills just put together a complete game, which historically they've had trouble doing. Last year, Josh Allen against the Jets, week 1, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. May it be, CJ Mosley was at the hand of basically all of those turnovers, isn't going to be an issue. The defense still is very elite. Trey White was the highest paid cornerback in the league for a very short amount of time, but he's going to have to show that. Levi Wallace is going to have to play fantastic.
Get your hands on your hips. You're doing a little.
I'm ready to go.
Right
You
now.
told me to be excited.
He's
I'm
having
excited.
a little powwow. He's like, these Jets can't hold our jock, and I don't disagree.
They can't.
Listen,
Yeah, when you guys, you go.
Devin Singletary is going to have a huge game. His first game of the season last year as a rookie, 4 rushes for 70 yards.
Let me give you this one. Ready? Listen, I agree 100%. The only one on the Jets organization that you should be scared of is Greg Williams, because he's the only one with the pedigree that deserves to be, trifling. Like, he should be the only one that has you shaking. But he doesn't have the weapons. He doesn't have a defensive back that's depleted. He's got his best player is the guy that hasn't even played a game in that system yet. He's got linebackers that no one even cares about. I think that this team could lose to the University of Buffalo. I think this team's bad. And on the same note as their defense being weak, their offensive line is still not good. They're starting a rookie left tackle in Becton. That's what it is. Mikhail Becton. They're starting a rookie left tackle who hasn't seen a preseason game.
Is that who they drafted this year?
Yeah, in their first round. Their first round left tackle is starting. Hasn't seen an actual rush in the game. Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes are going to be rotating on him. I don't know how many sacks I'm going to predict, but they'll be teeing off on him for the first time in his first professional game.
When you guys
He's
are
going to
all
have a tough game.
dipping your hands in your salsa and chips and whatever this weekend, watching the game and enjoying yourselves, remember I said their linebacker core is going to be run all over on. This team is just not good. It's going to be like I said, there is going to be a lot of sloppiness. But the
That's
Jets
just going to be
gonna
par
a
for the
mess.
course.
Now you say Devin Singletary is going to have a game. I see your Devin Singletary, and I raise you. Zach Moss gets the most carries. He gets the most carries, most yards. He gets 100 yards off of 18 carries.
This would be the week to do it. I mean,
It would be, because he's got a terrible. They need to run him in the ground. They need to get his feet wet with the NFL for the first time. And I'm not going to get too far into the predictions, but I think that Singletary does have a key part. I foresee Zach Moss being a more important key, because I think they want to get his feet wet a little bit more.
A quick factor in the game Sunday that we're not talking about is it is supposed to thunderstorm, which typically equals out to run game. But Le'Veon Bell, we haven't even mentioned Bell. Still doesn't even scare me.
no. I mean, Frank Gore
He used to run all over the Bills in Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh, he was so patient, and it was so frustrating to watch
He
teams
just
play
sat there.
against him.
He just sat there.
Well,
It was ridiculous.
He is always known for catching his 3-yard passes and
Let him.
running for 7, but he catches like 20 of those a game.
I don't think he's
not
doing
gonna
that
do
anymore,
now.
though.
But if the Bills are going to
Shell of
probably bring in
himself.
Poyer or Hyde to just be one-on-one with Bell all game, he's not going to get shit done.
Higher Poiter.
Yo, it's throwback.
Yeah.
So,
For the fans.
You didn't actually say it. It's okay.
okay.
We were just kidding.
But listen, I love the keys of the game. I think the Jets are weak. I don't want to get too far into the predictions, like we said. There is a lot to digest here. The bottom line is, I do think it's going to be a sloppier game than we would normally see in week 1. I don't expect a ton of turnovers, because I think the Bills are going to err on the side of overly conservative, because they don't want to have, sloppiness. They don't want to start the season. Like I said earlier, it's an important week. You are much better than the Jets, but you don't want to have turnovers and sloppiness be the difference maker to have the Jets in that game. So I think they're going to be overly conservative. I think they're going to do short, quick passes. They're going to do what they know. They're going to go to their bread and butter. I think that's definitely what they plan on doing. And then I think you'll see them open it up slowly over the course of the season. I think we're going to see a very dull Bills offense in the beginning.
Interesting. And it's going to be important for the defense to keep the Jets' offense to 3rd and long. Last year specifically, I know different years, but they were 1 for 6 on 3rd down and plus 10 yards. Total for the game was 7 out of 17. So it's going to be important to kind of keep them at a distance when it comes to 3rd down. And as you know, Bills last year were one of the best teams in the league from 3rd and long. So it doesn't matter where the Bills are on 3rd down. Statistically, they've been very good on 3rd down.
Yeah, and almost to play in the whole play conservative thing. I think they play so conservative that it'll be almost beneficial to the team that there won't be fans in the stands, because I think fans would boo because they're going to be so conservative. They're going to run on third down. I think they're going to play it safe this game, because I think only thing that matters coming out of this game is, getting your first hits into the season, getting your feet wet, take your licks, secure the win, and move on. I think it's that simple. You just get everyone's feet wet. Feet's wet. Feet's wet. You get their feet wet, you get the points, you get the win, and you get the hell out of there. And then you slowly build it up. Listen, I don't want a slow game. I want 500 yards from Josh Allen, but I think that's just the easiest way, and that's the smartest way I think teams can move through this.
Well, the one concern I have for the Bills, if there was any, was the defense is still, I think, top 3, maybe best in the league.
I think they're
Trey
definitely in the
White's got a
top
lot
2.
to prove out there, sign his contract. A lot of people are going to be talking, criticizing every move you make, which is fine because I think he'll shut him up. Josh Norman, the outside cornerback position outside of White. I hope this isn't a lingering issue all season. Hamstrings are you guys all know how hamstrings are. They can linger all season long.
I don't think there's a need for him to play this week.
Well, yeah, I don't think so either. But that being said, Levi Wallace should rival him and take that job. He's got a chance to.
I think he played very well last year.
Listen, he was a starting corner on a top 3 defense. If we have to play Levi Wallace in the position,
We'll be fine.
oh no,
And
you're starting a good corner.
segue to that is, I think the best receiver. Crowder doesn't scare me at all, but their best receiver.
He ate last year.
Perriman's probably gonna be questionable. So
He's
I don't even
questionable
know
with
if
a
he's
knee
gonna
injury.
even play this year.
The only really healthy wide receiver that is a name is Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan. And, the Jets wide receivers are, as you guys spoke, bare. We have Crowder, who I believe
Practicing with a hamstring injury.
he does have a hamstring injury, which, like we said, we know how those are. He ate last year. I believe he had 10 catches for 99 yards last year in week 1 against us. He will be the go-to dump down guy for Sam Darnold. Now, Perriman ended the season hot with Tampa Bay last year because, Mike Evans, as you mentioned, he's kind of out a little bit. He ended the season with a hamstring injury. Perriman stepped up, and he was a fantasy, idol for most people. So I don't think they have a ton. And Denzel Mims, their second-round pick, he only has 2 practices.
Yeah.
And they're not going to throw out a rookie without preseason and only 2 practices to play. So I think the Bills really have a very easy time with this.
Yeah, and I don't know what Adam Gase kind of thought this offseason would go. I mean, he let go Robbie Anderson and Demaryius Thomas. They think since this was such a very deep wide receiver class that they were going to have their pick of the litter A or just grab a whole bunch of wide receivers. I mean, Denzel Mims, sure.
He's a great pick. He's a great player.
But you're definitely giving up way more than you're kind of picking up.
Baylor.
So I just don't know where you're going. And I think if it doesn't play out as Zach says, where it's going to be very conservative, very ground-oriented, the Jets' defensive backfield is just demolished.
Depleted.
And the Buffalo Bills wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, John Brown, Cole Beasley
You have 4
gonna have
great wide receivers.
a field day. I mean, we look at the starting cornerback, Pierre Tiessier, whatever his name is, doesn't matter.
Dyson.
Allowed 5 touchdowns with a 64% completion and allowed 616 yards
5
last year.
touchdowns.
Blessed Austin, I think this is his second year in the league, let up 265 yards in 7 games, 23 completions, 62%.
His name's Bless.
Bless Austin.
You better go to church on Sunday.
Exactly. These cornerbacks, the loss of Jamal Adams,
Yeah,
Stephon Diggs is going to eat all day.
You're definitely. I mean, he was the defense. Greg Williams made Jamal Adams a threat in the middle of the field, on the D line, in the linebackers, in the defensive backfield. But now you lose a guy that versatile. You have McDougal, who you traded for. He's going to be formidable. He's going to be a good safety for this team, but he's not going to be nearly what Jamal Adams was. Jamal Adams, product out of LSU. He was. I don't think he was Defensive Player of the Year, but he was pretty damn close, and he definitely deserved it. But he's not as nearly as versatile, and that's a huge problem. I mean, their defensive line's awful. They're starting Quentin Williams, who's in a second year, and his first year was nothing to write home about. Henry Anderson, who we know, and we spoke with Sal Capaccio about, he's the one that gave that cheap shot to Steven Hauschka not too long ago. And, I mean, their linebackers are awful. Avery Williams, I know for sure Adrian Williamson is not what he's supposed to be.
No.
They thought he would be something different, and he is nowhere near the level of talent that you would have liked to have if you're the Jets.
And
the Jets are depleted.
Jordan Jenkins, I mean, in his 5-year career, I mean, I've maybe heard of him twice. I mean, let's see how many. I don't think his career numbers are anything special.
He might be sub 100 tackles.
I mean, let's say 2009. Yeah, I mean, in 4 years, 151 tackles,
Yeah, that's nothing.
20 sacks in 4 years.
That's not terrible. That's not terrible.
I actually saw that and was kind of impressed.
Yeah. 20 sacks
on
in 4 years, or 5 years technically, but it's not bad. But listen, you got to do the work. You got to get there.
Yeah, last 2
And now
years.
this offensive line for the Bills.
Sorry.
Now, we don't really know. Let's go to the offensive line here for a little bit for the Bills. Because the depth chart came out today. We still don't have the right side of the line knocked
Questionable
down.
still.
So we have Darrell Williams, the product out of Carolina that we all know and love. We have Cody Ford, and we have the interchangeable part of Ty Nsekhe. We know who those guys are. We kind of see how they're kind of rolling out there, but they don't know who's going to start there. And at the guard position, they have Ford, Brian Winters, and I believe they're also throwing in Williams at that spot. So they don't have the right side of their offensive line really sank in yet. And I don't know if it's a game, because I don't really think the game really works out that way. I don't know if you benefit from having the game work out that way of mind games. But as long as they know and they trust the guys, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, it might even just be a week-to-week decision. We don't know what Cody Ford is. We saw him last year struggle heavily with moving his feet, the speed of the game.
He's going to block you.
That's fine. Let him block me. He's watching. It's fine. Dude, move your feet a little faster.
Move him at all.
Something. So I just don't think they know whether they want him inside, outside, or not even on the field. He did improve slightly. That's why I'm not saying cut the guy right now.
Definitely don't cut him.
But
he's good. And he will be better.
He needs to improve. I just don't think they know what they have in him. They don't know what they have in the other guys as well at starting tackle. So,
Did you guys see the Bills are keeping Jake Fromm isolated in case there's an emergency? situation?
I don't think that's a big story. I think that's just
that's
something that they should
what is it,
probably do.
That was like that Jack Bauer show. Not Jack Bauer. Keith Sutherland show.
God.
Designated
24?
Survivor.
Designated survivor.
He's designated survivor for the Buffalo Bills. How about that one? You got to keep him in
environment.
Yeah, exactly. In case something crazy happens, you need one quarterback.
That
Because the
show
rest
was
of
wild.
no one watched it. That's why I
I
got
did.
canned. Oh, that's why I got
I've
canned.
seen it. It's not bad.
You,
right,
you
we're
thought it was
talking
24. But listen, I like the offensive line. I think they're interchangeable. Now, Jeremiah Searles, right?
Yeah.
He's the guy that used to be on the team. They cut him at the end of last year. Now, he predicted that it would be Mitch Morse, Quentin Spain, Deion Dawkins, real brain teasers there. And then he thought Cody Ford at the right guard and Darrell Williams at the right tackle. I like that.
I don't hate it.
I like that lineup a lot. And then Ty Nsekhe will be your swing tackle and Ryan Bates will be your interior swing. I like that all the way through.
You can't.
If that's what it ends up being, that's what it ends up being.
Well, I mean, again, on paper, we don't know anything about Darrell Williams really, just from what the coaches say. But this is a good week to put him in there and try it because the Jets' defense I don't think it's going to get much pressure.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be important that we get out of this game with 0 injuries. 'cause
Health is everything.
It's not like we're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be very important to stay healthy.
Other way. Where's the rest?
Hold on.
There we go. So, above all else, Dave, where do you think the Bills really succeed in the matchups of the two teams? Where do you see that the Bills excel so much farther that it's the difference maker? Diamond Dave, excuse me. Say my full name.
I mean, it's easy to say the receivers against their cornerbacks. It's easy to say that, but I don't think our receivers are going to be tested much this week because they don't need to be. I think our running backs are just going to have an absolute field day over the New Jersey linebackers. They just don't have anybody to stop us. I think that's you're in the film room, and I just think that's absolutely just exciting to watch.
And no one on this team scares me. I think it's going to be important. It's going to be the defensive line. It's going to be that left tackle who they're going to be just slaughtering all day. They're going to get Sam Darnold. He's going to throw picks. people are going to know why Trey White was the highest paid cornerback
Yeah.
for a week.
Start the Bills defense this week.
Yeah, I don't.
That's my fantasy tip for you. That's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Richard Perks
Trey,
fantasy
the Trey White
tips.
factor, sure, but I don't even think we even hear his name because he's just going to shut down Crowder.
I bet you he gets 2 picks
He's going to prove
because they're going to be trailing. They're going to be trying to throw back into the game.
he's done not being talked about.
This is his defensive player of the year campaign right here. He's taking it back because he deserved it last year. He's taking it back. He's going full force on this one.
We have a lot of crow to eat if we end up losing this game.
You know what? And I thought about it. I absolutely will. Hell, I won't podcast again. I'll quit. If the Bills lose this game, it's you two guys because I don't want any part of it.
Chill, dude.
I know our job is to hype up the team, but we have
Listen, man.
an apology to write to the
I
Jets.
don't have an apology to write. The Jets suck. They've been sucking. And they're not going to be any better this year with all their injuries, all their problems, and the Bills, who are a Super Bowl contender.
They got exponentially worse last year, and they weren't great last
They
year.
want to be.
I don't think
I
they
don't
want
think
to
they
be.
want to be. I really don't think they want to be. I think they have
Adam
no
Gase is
choice
horrible.
because their best players want to get the hell out of there because it's an awful environment.
Adam Gase is a cancer to the team.
True. Absolutely. Now, Jake, where do you think your matchup, where do the Bills and Jets completely have a huge separation in the matchups?
I think it's just going to be the Bills' defense versus the Jets' offense.
Absolutely.
You have Sam Darnold, who may be a good player, definitely kind of gets rattled, sees ghosts. I mean, if we had a counter, that would be hopefully the only seeing ghost reference. But he has no one. He has Le'Veon Bell, Frank Gore, and a whole bunch of no-name wide receivers. I just think the defense is just going to maul the New York Jets.
Yeah, I would say the D-line versus their offensive line is really where the separation's really going to sink in for this team. And I think that you remember, I hate to go back to this again in one podcast, but you remember the Nathan Peterman Baltimore Ravens rain game where they threw Josh Allen in
47-3 or something?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the similar situation where they can't get the ball out of their own hands. They're struggling to move the ball. I think it's going to be a very similar situation because that game was 100% won in the trenches. And I think that this game is going to be won in the trenches. I know that's such a over the top blanket statement, but I think this game is won in the trenches 100%, especially with starting a left tackle, a rookie left tackle nonetheless. So this is your favorite part, Dave. Give me some predictions. Throw them at me. What do you got? And don't wait. The comment section.
We still have that thing?
We're still waiting on it.
This one.
This is the one.
You had two of them?
Yeah. I'm trying to give away both. If you guys guess the score of this game correctly, we will send free freight this ball to you. So drop a score prediction in the comments.
Mystery autograph.
If you're right, it's both of them are mystery autographs. One of them's really good. But how many 22s have they had? This one is very simple. You comment what you think the score will be. You get it right, we will send it to you. You only get one guess.
We did it all last year. No one got
It's
it.
a hard game to play, but we're playing. So, Dave, what do you got?
Prediction is going to be Bills 38, Jets 6. Players of the game are mixed. It's going to be Singletary and Moss because they both got 100 yards. I actually think Allen probably gets about 70 himself, even though I don't like when he does that. The Jets are a good team to practice on this week, and next week will be a good team to practice on too. I think our running game is just. I think Singletary and Moss might be the best tandem in the league. I know that's early to say, but
Definitely.
they're going to have a very good game and they're going to give a lot of film for the Dolphins to watch for the following week. I think our defense is just going to be outstanding. I hope I want Levi Wallace to step up and take the job from Norman. I want him to succeed for the next couple weeks that he's going to be in the game because I don't think Norman's going to play. I think it's going to be a lingering issue. So I do want Levi Wallace to step up and just absolutely shut down Perriman, whoever he's up against, whether it's Crowder. But I think the players of the game, it's going to be Moss and Singletary, 38-6, and Diamond in the Rough is coming back Sunday.
Jacob?
35-0. Stephon Diggs is going to have 2 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis is going to have 100 yards. It's going to be a fantastic day to be a Buffalo Bills
100
fan.
yards for the rookie. I like that.
He's been very promising, and we're going to be talking about
Allegedly.
him a lot more
Allegedly.
this coming season.
I hope so. Absolutely.
I had another prediction I just thought of, too.
Whatever. Say it.
I think that Joe Flacco gets into the game.
I think Jake Fromm's going to get in the
Late.
game.
He's the designated survivor. He's not going to be at the stadium.
Bet.
All right.
All right, Zach, prediction.
All right, my score prediction. I've been saying this for weeks. I've been teasing it on the podcast, the show in front of the stadium, the show the week before for cut downs. I think the Bills are benefiting from the Jets being awful, and they're going to be able to use this game as a glorified preseason game. They are going to be done by the halfway of the third quarter. You're going to see the backups in. I think we see more of Yeldon than we do of Singletary this week. I will say that this game is now, you don't get brownie points for scoring a ton. I say this game is way closer to 27-3.
All right. And then one little game that I want to play.
I think that Taron Johnson has a field day going against Crowder.
Let's take a guess here. When was the Buffalo Bills' last 50-point game?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Last 50-point game. Dave, you can guess first.
No, you go first.
No, I need a minute to
I'll
think
give you
about it.
one hint. AFC team.
Oh, good.
That narrows it down to 15, not 16, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I don't know when it was, but I'll predict the team.
Sure.
Probably Bledsoe, right?
I'm going to say against the Chiefs.
Oh, shit. That's a great call. Trent Edwards against the Chiefs. It was like 56-3.
It was 54-31 against the Kansas City Chiefs
And for the record, I did not look at
in
that.
2008.
I didn't either.
At
That's a
all.
good call.
I knew the
2008,
answer.
Trent Edwards. I remember that. I was doing homework during
Been
that game.
179 games since the Bills have scored 50 points or more.
That's okay.
Who was the quarterback of that game? Look that up for me. I bet you that was Trent Edwards. I remember
What
him.
was the year?
It was
2008.
08. So it could
It
be
was
Lossman
Trent. It was
or Trent.
Trent Edwards.
Or Kelly Holcomb. No, it was definitely Trent. I remember Trent Edwards going off in that game. I think he had a rushing touchdown even. What do we got here?
I know Robert Royal was on the team, wasn't he?
That's a throw. That might be
Number
JC Lawson
84.
then. That might be Lawson then. No, it's
Trent Edwards.
Did he have a rushing touchdown?
See, Trent Edwards had 273 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Look at Lynch's numbers.
20 carries for 79 yards. I don't know how
None
we
of
got
those
so many
numbers
touchdowns.
are really that impressive.
Chan Gailey
Our
was in that
defense
game.
must have tore it up.
No, Edwards did.
Yeah, Tyler Thigpen was the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think in the fourth quarter, Trent Edwards had a rushing touchdown.
third, fourth. Yeah, no,
I'm actually really impressed. I knew that without even looking.
a 17-yard touchdown to Showman.
He didn't run one in at all. I remember him running in
Pass
something.
to Josh
Eric Schulman,
Reed.
number 80.
I remember just Trent Edwards having a great game.
Right end to the 5.
There we go. I remember.
Third quarter.
I remember he had a rushing touchdown, and I remember exactly. He dove in. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that. I appreciate Dave's help on that. That was a good assist.
We'll be doing that. I don't know what to call it now. Maybe Madman by the numbers. I don't know. Whatever.
It's the new Mad Men by the numbers.
Guys, thank you for
Like
joining
and
us.
subscribe. Drop your prediction.
It's going to be a very
Twitter.
fun year.
Go Bills.
Twitter, Mad Men Sports. Instagram, Mad Men Sports. Facebook, Mad Men Sports. Mad Men Sports everywhere. Go Bills. 1-0 against the New York Jets.